Hey guys, and welcome back. There have been some changes made to the weapon balance with update 1.2, at least to some of the weapons, so I thought I'm gonna go specifically into this today and also explain a bit more what was changed and how it affects these weapons, or if you should change anything on your loadout now. Most changes have been made to different ammunition types, so the time to kill or the number of bullets it takes for a kill has changed, and that's definitely noticeable. There were also some other adjustments made that you might have not recognized yet, but let's start with the more recognizable weapon changes. And the first weapon that got a little nerf is the BSV-M. This one was highly overpowered since its release and was ridiculously strong on all ranges. So with the last update, two things were changed. One is the recoil compensation and the other one is the damage drop-off on range. The recoil compensation is a slight reduction in recoil that you usually have if you fire a weapon in single fire. For auto fire, this compensation is usually not available, but for some reason the BSV-M had such a compensation for its auto fire mode, and that made it much easier to handle, especially on range. Now this recoil compensation was completely removed, at least for the full auto mode, so when you fire it in full auto you will now have a bit stronger recoil compared to single fire mode. But then again, it's not so strong that the weapon would be really challenging to control. So you can still easily fire it in full auto, and if you should have problems hitting targets on range, just switch over to single fire to take advantage of the recoil compensation. In addition to this, the weapon also has a little more bullet spread now, but also only an automatic fire. But to be honest, it's barely noticeable. So it's still pretty easy to handle in auto fire, but if you want the lowest possible recoil and the highest possible accuracy, fire it in single fire. But what is definitely noticeable is the adjustment to damage drop-off for the high power ammunition and the high power subsonic ammunition. Damage drop-off means that at a certain range your bullets will start to deal less and less damage to your opponent the further they are away. So for the BSV-M, before the update, the drop-off started at 100 meters and now it starts at 50 meters. That means if an enemy is more than 50 meters away, you will need one bullet more for a kill, and the more meters they are away, the more bullets you will need. But even though these changes are noticeable and reduce the BSV-M spam a little bit, it's still one of the best and most powerful weapons in the game, and I'm pretty sure there will be more nerfs coming to this. I could even imagine that DICE might remove the full auto mode completely at some point, just like they did with the single fire mode of the AK-24. But for now, stick to it if you like it, and also stick to the high power rounds if you used to play them. Cause even though they deal a little less damage on long range now, they are still great, and in combination with a shortened barrel for a bit more fire rate, you can still use them on all ranges. A weapon that wasn't so lucky with its nerf is the M5A3, and to be honest, I don't even know why it got nerfed, cause for me it was in a great spot before the update and in no way overpowered. But for some reason DICE felt like they need to reduce the damage of the close combat ammunition in close range, so up to 20 meters it only deals 18 damage now instead of the 22 damage it dealt before, and that means you will need one more bullet for a kill. That might not sound much, but especially with the close combat ammo that is already a bit weaker than the standard issue, you can really feel the difference. Nevertheless, I would recommend to stick to the close combat mag if you have played it in the past, cause all other ammunition types will not give you the same control, handling and rate of fire, especially on close range. For me, this nerf makes the M5A3 to the weakest assault rifle at the moment, cause I always loved it as a close combat weapon, but even with a switch to standard issue ammunition, it's not what it used to be. So that's why I recommend to stick to the close combat even though it got nerfed. For the next weapon on the other hand, which is the MP9, I can highly recommend to swap ammunition types, cause here it can really improve your experience with this gun. For the MP9, the close combat ammunition was nerfed as well, and the damage up to 5 meters was reduced from 28 to 22 per bullet, and between 30 and 40 meters it was reduced from 22 to 18. So in sum, you also need one more bullet for a kill. And I was always a bit on the fence with the close combat mag here, so I already switched to the standard issue extended a while ago, and now after this nerf, the standard issue is definitely the better choice for this weapon. It really gives it a lot more balance and makes it so much more versatile and useful for more than just close range. So if you haven't tried it yet and you are a bit frustrated with the nerf of the close combat ammunition, switch over to the standard ammo. I know the magazine size is a bit lower since there's only an extended magazine available and no drum mag, but believe me, it's worth it. And for the last weapon that was nerfed, which is the K30, not only one ammunition type was adjusted, but all of them. So it's not just switching to another type here, instead you need to get used to the nerf and adapt to it. So for the K30, there is standard issue, subsonic and high power ammo available, and all of them have reduced damage now. Up to 10 meters, all ammo types now deal 18 damage instead of 22, and the subsonic ammo was also reduced between 30 and 40 meters, where it only deals 15 damage now. So that means, just like for all other weapons before, you will need one more bullet on these ranges to kill someone. But it also means if you mostly play it in close range, the standard ammunition is still the best one as it deals the exact same damage as the high power rounds, but has less recoil and a faster fire rate. Only on a range longer than 10 meters, the high power rounds are a bit better as the damage drop-off is lower. But despite all the nerfs, the K30 is still the perfect weapon for close range and hip firing, but you will also notice the little damage change and it might take a moment to get used to it. Another little adjustment that was made, and this time it's for the shotguns, is a long-range nerf. But it's more like a fix than an actual nerf, cause before the update you could deal damage up to 300 meters with both of the shotguns, and now it's not possible to deal damage above 200 meters. But that's still a lot and you will only deal little damage with it anyhow, so it's nothing that you will recognize on close or mid-range. But yeah, before the update you could indeed hit people up to 300 meters. This nerf only came in for the 12M Auto and the MCS 880 of course, and not for the GVT 4570, because this one does not count as a shotgun, so no worries, if you love to snipe with a GVT, you can still do that. And at the end, a quick word to the Underbarrel Incendiary launcher that you can equip to a lot of different weapons. I'm sure you all died to this already and you hadn't had any chance to react cause you were dead as soon as the shell hit you. This should have been fixed with update 1.2 and the player who was hit by the incendiary shell should only get little damage from the shell now and then burns as if they were hit by a normal incendiary grenade. But that's only how it is described in the patch notes. While playing the launcher, I recognized no change at all to the incendiaries and a direct hit still caused an instant death to the enemy. When shot to the ground, the enemy started burning as usual. So even though it's written in the notes, it doesn't seem like there was a change made at all. But this might come in with one of the next updates while it won't appear in the notes again. We had this quite a few times already, so I wouldn't be surprised if this would be the case here as well. And that's it for today, just a short summary of the weapon nerfs that have been made with update 1.2 in Battlefield 2042, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to drop a like or a comment below and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more content like this. Until then, thanks for watching, I'm the Catwoman and you are awesome!